My whole house was filled with moms.
What's that? I miss it.
Come home and there's just moms everywhere.
Moms everywhere.
You have a mom problem.
It's moms. It's just moms.
And I do have that moms group on video. It was so good in December. If any of you ladies want the recording, I'm happy to send it to you. It was really good because Art did speak and it was beautiful. Just as group coaching last night. I did record group coaching last night. It was so good last night. I don't know quite how to use
She's
the
pretty biased.
It was. Y'all agree.
So far, I'm 100%. I've never done a bad group. It's a little suspicious. You know what I mean? Everything I do is marvelous.
It is.
Yeah.
I've been to every group for what, 12 years now. Next
You
month.
missed one or two.
I did.
Yeah, she missed.
1944.
When I went to the yoga retreat.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow, selfish.
Yes. I did miss a group.
She went to a yoga retreat once,
And I'm going to another one.
and she came back, and there was this yoga instructor.
Oh no, the yoga ladies are here, baby.
Okay, well I'll tell you. Okay, so there was this yoga instructor guy.
Oh, you're talking about the breathing retreat.
The breathing retreat.
That was different.
Okay. Oh no.
This last time we had a salsa instructor that was male.
Oh.
Pretty interesting.
Is any man here really comfortable with these male salsa instructors? I mean, really, we really want our wives hanging out with male salsa instructors.
That was a different retreat. That was the breathing retreat.
When I hear this guy's a male salsa instructor, I already don't like him. There's no way that guy, you know, I don't want him anywhere near my wife. You know? Jeez. There we go.
Hi, Marlisa. Welcome. Where can Marlisa sit?
Here's some
Gotta see.
empties.
Okay, great.
I did a group coaching, and then I did a group this morning here, and then I did some time with some clients here today. You know, kind of a lot of groups before group. The format that I've always went on in doing this thing is I argued with Angie for a lot of years about whether that I could teach things or not, or whether I was a teacher. She always called me a teacher, and I hated that. It was like, I'm just telling people my experience. I don't know if I'm a teacher, but there was a formula that I went with, and it was always learn, and then do it, and then teach it. And I never did anything before I learned and I did. I didn't try to ever tell people something that I hadn't used in my repertoire, or something that I wasn't learning through these kids, or learning through helping people, or whatever it is. It was always learn, do, teach. It was the formula. And I think right now the problem that I'm running into is there's a lot of learning right now. You know, I had this epiphany this week that I was sitting, you know, oddly enough, I was sitting at a poker table, and I was in a game, and this like overwhelming sense of like, it never used to be this way, this amount of fear that seems to be surrounding us as humans now. I mean, just, you know, at least it used to be we were Americans. And, you know, you could trust fellow Americans. You know, you could live in America and you knew that Americans and our government and that people kind of had our back, you know, but it doesn't just feel that way as safe as it used to feel. So there's that fear. And now, of course, I got a new son, so you got a baby son, and everyone tells you that having your kid is where you get to learn about love. But I think when you have a kid, it's where you get to really learn about fear. I mean, it's, you know, I knew about love. I didn't know about the capacity that I love my son, but the level of fear is something that I really didn't understand was going to hit me. And so now I live in fear of my son, and I live in fear of something happening to him, and I live in fear of, you know, kind of being in America and being an American, and I live in fear that I'm going to run out of money, and I live in fear that I'm going to get sick, and I live in fear that my wife might get sick, and geez, what am I going to do if my wife gets sick? all that kind of thing. And so I had this like, oh, they went, whoa, look at all this fear we live in. Like, look at this fear that is surrounding us. But anyways, I kind of combat that in a certain way, my own way. And, this week before we came tonight, I don't know if you guys heard what happened at Tahoma High School yesterday. There was a basketball game at Tahoma High School.
Is this Mount Tahoma?
Mount Tahoma High School, I believe. And there was a basketball game, and at the basketball game, the student section of the basketball game, there was a kid who yelled out at the ref, and he said, "You effing suck," to the refs. And it was loud, and it quieted the whole place. And the principal, the school, wanted to know, or the administrator, whoever it was, wanted to know who said it. Because I guess in the past couple weeks there had been many cases of bad sportsmanship, and this principal had sent out emails and let everybody know at the school that we're not going to no longer tolerate bad sportsmanship. That, we're just not going to do this anymore. And so inevitably, none of the people in this student crowds fessed up to who said it. No one would out the person that said it. And they protected the kid that said it. And so what this principal did was he sent the whole student section home in the middle of the game. He said, if you're going to protect this kid, whoever said it, then you're all going to get punished. And he sent him home. Perfect. And then the angry emails came in from the parents of the students that my kid was 3 rows away from this kid. Why would you punish my kid? And how come my kid's getting punished for this kid's behavior? And it really reminded me a lot of these houses, and it reminded me a lot of and then there's so many layers to this thing, There's so many layers. Like, I was thinking about the kid that said it. What did he learn? And I was thinking about the pressure around this kid that these people have. Like, how much influence must this kid have where everyone was scared to tell on him? What's going on there? And I thought, what about this? What about this is good? What are these people standing for? This poor referee, he just signs up to go out and coach a basketball game. He's not trying to ref a basketball game. He's just trying to get through the damn game without getting yelled at and called a bum and a loser and an effing idiot. And he's doing his job. Then you got these kids in the stands, and what are they learning? Snitches get stitches, But I thought to myself, who's standing for this kid that said it? Is there anyone that could go over to this kid and go, hey man, just say what you said? Why wouldn't this kid, out of all those people, why wouldn't this kid stand up and say, I said it? Why wouldn't he out himself? Why would he let all those people take that punishment? Whole empty stadium because this kid couldn't raise his hand and say, it was me, I said it. So he can't stand up because he believes everything he does is anonymous now. Everybody believes they're anonymous. Everybody's an internet warrior. Everybody wants to type on a chat and say everything. There's no humanity left, I've cried 15 times in the last 2 days. I counted. I started counting last night at group coaching. And I started counting it. And when I cry, I don't cry because I'm sad. I cry because I'm happy. I cry because I'm experiencing love and I'm experiencing humanity. And a lot of the kids maybe laugh at me because I tear up and I'm an old fucking loser or whatever because I cry all the time. But I'm telling you, if you don't cry, there's something wrong with you. It means you're not experiencing love. It means, when we experience love as human beings, we tear up. We cry. That's what happens. How dead are we inside when you can't tear up at the humanity of another human being? Had the chance to sit across from Mikey today and talk to Mikey. Had a great time talking to Mikey. I cried about 4 times during that. Didn't I, Mike? I teared up. It's coming down like 4 times because but going back to this, going back to this, it really starting to feel like we're so into ideas being right or wrong that as a society, we're no longer thinking about honesty being right or wrong. We're no longer thinking, it's okay to not be honest. You know, I'll go back to this thing in Minnesota that happened, and don't get excited because I don't have a stance. I don't. I can honestly hold both sides as right, and I can hold both sides as wrong. It's very easy for me to see that in my life, when I see a federal officer, I go, yes, sir, no, sir. And I show respect to an American federal officer. It's also very easy for me to see that poor lady shouldn't have been shot in the face that day. I can say both things, and don't try to argue one side, please, because I don't want to hear it. I think they're both wrong, and I think they're both right. I just think that people don't really care about honesty or humanity anymore, or love. You know, that's where the fear is, because look at what we're doing. This poor guy, no one could give this kid tough love. No one. So that whole stadium of people, that whole gymnasium of people went home last night, and what did anyone learn? That the principal's bad? They probably learned the principal's bad. And what are the parents teaching the kids? Hey, stand up for bad behavior. Protect the criminals. Stand up and just say, you know, it's okay. He's right. Because what? Because he said you're effing stupid to the ref? That's who we're going to protect in this whole thing? Now the kids can't stand up to each other. The kids here, they always call it snitching. You know? They always say so-and-so's using drugs. Well, wait, do you use drugs? No. Do you want to use drugs? No. Well, why don't you stand up for no drug use? Why don't you take a stand? No, he's my friend. I don't want him to be mad at me. I want him. That's not your friend. You know, I got a lot of male friends. If any of my male friends come to me and tell me that, oh, come on in. Come on in, Carol.
Hi, come on in.
I
Is there a spot
thought
with
he was
two?
waiting for his friend out there, so we were talking.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, if I
Come
would
on
have known,
in. Are you here with Larry?
his friend is here.
Oh, great. Great. Come on in. And where's one spot for Carol?
Yeah, and Logan's on his way.
Okay.
Did you find a spot?
Thank you.
So I've been pushing with the kids here, and what I always want and what I want to see is I want to see some underlying. I don't care about your ideas. I don't care about whether you think your opinion is right or wrong. I care about the values and the underlying way which you do it. I care about the stance that you take and the honesty in which you take it.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah. Very important. VIP.
Nobody's messing up.
It's her. Close your eyes.
It'll go away.
At
It'll go.
the basketball game.
Why is it still going on?
Let's just do a double check of the phones, make sure they're on.
We're just to catch people, patch anyone up that's just getting here. We're discussing a situation that happened. Carol? We're discussing a situation that happened at the Houma High School in which one of the students in the student section of the game stood up or didn't stand up, but yelled out to the ref that he's effing stupid, and the principal had stated that we're no longer going to have bad sportsmanship, and this had been going on for weeks. These crowds eruptions and this bad sportsmanship, and the principal wanted good sportsmanship. So he had sent out emails and let everybody know that he would no longer tolerate this kind of behavior in the thing. And then this kid ended up yelling out in the student section and telling the ref that he's effing stupid, and what are you effing blind, or whatever he said. And then the game stopped and the crowd got silent, and the administrator just wanted to know who said it because he wanted that person to be put out of the stadium. And no one in the stadium would out the person. And so what he ended up doing was he ended up eliminating the whole student section and punishing everybody and making them leave the game. And this turned to parents being upset with the administrator. You know, and I find in this whole story that the administrator was only the one taking the stand for the kid that said it. You know, he was the only one taking a stand with anything to show people the right way to behave. And it doesn't matter anymore. It seems to me it's that, you know, what my whole point of bringing this up and then bringing up the thing in Minnesota is that I don't care what side you're on. I don't want to hear it. I truly believe that both people shouldn't have done what they've done. And I think that either person, you know, can't we clearly see as human beings that you shouldn't hit a federal agent with your car? And can we also clearly see as human beings that you shouldn't get shot in the face sometimes, and that it would have been nice if that guy woke up and tried his best to not shoot an American citizen in the face? And me as an officer, I want to wake up and I want to go, you know what I want to do today? Not shoot an American woman in the face with my pistol or my assault rifle. And you know what I want to do as an American? I want to wake up and say, you know what I want to do today? Not hit a federal agent with my car. If I do protest something, I want to do it with kindness and honesty and love, and I want to stand up for something, but I want to do it in the right way. And I commend people for standing up for things. But when did we start hitting people with our cars? When did we start going down to cause trouble? When did we start having so much hatred in our hearts? And that's what it is. I got a bunch of cousins, and they're Christians. They're Christians, but they hate Trump. And the venom that spews out of my cousins with the hatred. I don't understand how you're going to make the world a kinder place by being unkind. I just don't get it. I don't get what you're doing here. I don't get where we ever started saying that we could end people who are unkind by being unkind. I don't ever remember a time where we could stop hate with hate. I just don't remember it doing that. And now the point of this is that and why I'm even talking about this stuff, is that with what we all struggle with what everybody's struggling with in this room, there's an equalizer. There's a place that we can get down to, and I've found that place. And the place is when you discover another person's humanity. It's this place where you're filled with anger, you don't understand why a person's doing what they're doing, you don't get it, and you actually meet some person at their humanity. And I looked up the word humanity before I came, and then it brought me to another word, which was benevolence. And it was really weird because Mikey had said that word today when we were together, and he said it in a different way than they mean, but it meant that the understanding that a human is good. Just that understanding, benevolence, the understanding that the other person is good in, you know, that there's actually goodness under this person, that they're humane, that there's something that we can see there and agree on. And so, you know, I don't know where I'm going tonight with it, but I do understand that there's these kids in this house, and you know, finding some leadership for them to stand on something, and to see that
He needs a chair.
right.
Got a chair back there for him? Here we go, Logan, there's a chair back there. Right, there you go.
I just find it remarkable, this whole basketball game, and I find it remarkable that there was, you know, 100 people in that stadium that couldn't, and none of them, not one out of the 100 went. It was this asshole right here that said it. This guy. He's a prick, and he would have let us all leave and get punished, but he's a prick, and it's this guy right here. He's yelling at the refs and stuff, and he's very unkind, and and we're all just going to agree that this is the right way to behave now, and we're just going to follow this dude's leadership. And I found it very odd. You know, Charlie Harger did a story on it today. Charlie's a friend of mine, and he does 97.3 on the morning show, and Charlie does a great job at articulating this stuff. And so if you need to listen to it in a different way, but you know, I found it telling, and I thought about the kids here in the program, and I thought what it must be like navigating in a world where you don't know what to stand on. You know, sometimes these kids move to the outer houses, and then there's drug use, and they say, well, that's my friend, I can't tell on him for doing drugs. They always have a different way of saying it, but it's this way that, and they go, what do you stand for? You're just going to go over there and let that stuff go? But it's my fault because I don't know. You know, we're stupid as a program because we don't know so-and-so's using drugs. I find it stupid that you let bad behavior go around and you don't stand for anything. When do you stand up? When do we stand up for values? When do we say, hey, I don't care Democrat, Republic anymore, but who has any values anymore? I don't see either side doing anything but complaining. I don't know any ideas. I don't know any answers. All I hear is complaints. All I hear is blame. I don't hear no ideas. I don't hear what we do about it. I just hear everyone say the other side is bad. If you disagree with me, bad. You're not human. You're actually dehumanized. We're actually at the point now where it's probably going to be a civil war, where we can't even sit and talk to each other. Where pretty soon we're going to have to live in different parts of the country. You can't have liberals and conservatives living together. We're going to kill each other. We're going to run each other over with the cars. We're going to shoot each other in the face. And it's all because no longer do we stand on values like kindness and honesty and anything that we have here. We just stand on ideas. I believe I'm right and you're wrong. Therefore, I can do whatever I want to get my way to push through. I just thought a lot about these kids and who's teaching these kids. All at this high school, learn to protect that kid. We still don't know who said it. Find that very odd. Yet the parents are calling the administrator, the one guy that seemed to have finally done something right around here. Finally said, you know what, I'm going to teach people a lesson. We can't behave poorly in this school. I'm going to stand up and say, hey, it's not right to call a ref a piece of shit in front of everyone. We're not going to do it. Yet that guy's getting all the flack now. What should he have done? You know, really. Just let it go. There's nothing he can do. He sent out the emails. Nobody's listening. He has to quit now. A lot of times we deal with teachers because we got youngsters living at the school, and the teachers tell us now that they've given up. They don't stand for the kids. They say if a kid doesn't want to do school, that's fine. Man, the teachers that I respect and remember, they all had a paddle on their wall when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The ones that I really like now, and I look back, they all had a paddle on their wall, and if you messed with them, you got the paddle, you know. And I look back and I go, God, that guy, man. I like that the guy that told me I was wrong and said, hey, man, don't behave that way at my class. Get here on time, bud. And outed me in front of everyone. And yeah, it made me feel a little ashamed because I'm late or a little embarrassed. But thank God for these people. Thank God for people that are still willing to stand up, not the Democrat or Republican, not this, oh, take a stance for your stupid opinion. Nobody gives a shit about your opinion. Your opinion's the same as the million other people that are on your side. 10 million people. Don't think you're original. But what about being honest, and what about being kind? What about being in this house and standing for kindness, but not just kindness? How do I be kind and tough? You see, we're always working this thing in this house. We're always working this thing with our families. There's two pedals to push on. There is the accountability pedal, and there's the love pedal, and you don't know which one to push. And when you're dealing with somebody who's struggling with something, you don't know which pedal to push down on harder. Sometimes you push on the accountability pedal and you feel horrible. And sometimes you push down on the love pedal and they take advantage of you. And they just do whatever they're doing because they know you love them. And then there you are in this struggle as a person. And here we are as a struggle as a society. We don't know whether to push down on the accountability pedal. Who do we hold accountable anymore? I know for sure if someone comes and robs my house, I better not hurt that individual or I'm going to jail. We don't want to hold that guy accountable. We want to show the criminal love. So who knows what we push down on anymore? But I tell you that I'm learning and I'm not into doing and teaching yet. I'm just in awe of the world. Kind of sit around and find little pockets of love, little pockets of humanity that are still left. It's like air, you know? You get to sit and tear up. Just so you guys know, some of you that don't tear up at life, you know, maybe the kids in the program, maybe it's been a long time since you used drugs and you don't feel anymore because you're hardened by your drug use. You know, but love is like when you watch American Idol, you know, and you watch a person come up and sing beautiful and you can't help but tear up. Come on. Hey, there's a form back there for fill out when you're late. You could just. Yeah. I read over them and sometimes I accept the excuses and.
2 spots, even if they're spread apart. Thanks, Jeff. There's a spot up here if you want to move, Jeff. While you're there.
I'll hang for a little while.
Okay.
Get a seat, Jeff.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't want you to hang for a little while. So I guess the word that just keeps clicking into me is humanity. And then I equate that to like, that's where I can get with a person. And I look at that people in the gym and I go, why wasn't there one person that could have just went over to that kid with a little love and said, hey man, why don't you get up and come talk to me? Come here, man. I know you said it. They said you said it. But they're all scared of the principal or scared of the administrator. But there is one person that could have been a stand and came up and said, let's go outside and talk. What you did tonight was unacceptable. I love you, kiddo. But don't do that no more. And tonight you got to go home. And everybody's got to see you go home because you did the wrong thing tonight. But I can't wait for you to get back tomorrow and prove that you can sit in the stadium and be a human and not a thug. So we'll see you next game, bud. But thanks, but I can't let you stay tonight. What's happened? You know, I saw this thing the other day and it said, this thing on Facebook today said, we kicked she said this, it says, we kicked this person out of, it was her husband, and she made her husband leave because her husband was into drugs and wanted to protect the family. So it said, made my husband leave because he was into drugs and I wanted to protect the family. I kept him away from our kids and I kept him away from our life to protect our life, and now we're going to his funeral. Tough love doesn't work. And I thought, what a moron. That's not tough love. That's tough. Tough doesn't work. You gotta have both pedals. You see, you can't go up to the kid in the stadium and say, because you said that, you're out for the rest of the season. Get out of here. Nobody likes you. Stay the hell away from our basketball games. You gotta go up and say, we love you, kiddo. You just gotta, you did this to us tonight, and you just gotta, so you can't kick them away. You gotta actually, yes, you gotta protect your family, and that's tough. You can't have people nodding off and smoking fentanyl in a house with kids. Very true. But you also have to have a human being that can say to him, hey man, stop the fentanyl so you can be with your kids. We gotta get you off the fentanyl and get you back with your family, bro. We love you. Your kids love you. But you know clearly you're doing this to us. You see? So nobody knows how to do tough love because tough love takes some skill. It takes actually learning. It takes being with people's humanity and then understanding that humanity, feeling the love for them, but still being able to lightly push on that accountability pedal. And say, come on, but the accountability ain't coming from me. It's that you know better. It's that you know better. And just because I'm showing you this love, we have this mutual respect in this place that we've currently met, that I see your humanity, I see your struggle, but you're also willing to fight for me. You're also willing to fight for that love again. You're willing to fight for what's right. And so for me, it's this idea that it's this thing that we're living with all this fear, but that's not really the biggest problem. The biggest problem is this lack of humanity that we have for each other now. That really, if you get really honest with yourself, can you really feel love for people that disagree with you anymore? Can you? Or do you feel that hatred in your heart? Can we feel love for people that are suffering and hurting our family, but at the same time feel love for them? Can we see their struggle? Can we meet them where they're at? How hard is that sometimes? People used to always say, you got to meet them where they're at. And I always used to not like that. I always used to say, yeah, but where they're at's fucking terrible. I hate going where they're at. I don't want to meet them there. I want them to come to me. I want them to get better. I don't want to go meet them where they're at. I don't want to go through all that. But it's kind of true. It's not definitely, we don't have to go where they're at, but we have to understand why they're there. Benevolence. The understanding that each person is good. That behind all this stuff is good intentions. That behind that self-harm is a part of us that is trying to protect us. Behind the self-harm is a part of us that's saying, this is how you're going to feel better right now, man. Go get it done. And it's there. And I told you I've cried 16 times or 15 times in the last 2 days. I've cried at the humanity of others. I've cried because I've been angry with someone and then talked to them and that anger dissipated and I went, oh, this is why they're doing it. It's where that anger gets to you get to the other side of that anger and there's this understanding. And when you get to that understanding and the person helps you arrive there, there's just this peace that comes over you, and it's just like, oh, I get it. See, just on the other side of my judgment is my growth. It's on the other side of my judgment, though. I gotta go to the other side of it, you see? And just like the man who, we can't just say that man who shot that lady in the face is all bad. And we can't say that lady that went and did that is a bad person. These are good people that bad stuff happened to. These are good people that meant well. And if you got with them and you saw the humanity of both of them and you listened, I promise you'd hear it from both sides. And we have to find this humanity. And if you're not tearing up on a daily basis right now, then you're not finding it. You're not listening. Because it's all around. This is love for me, is that those tears. And I find it with these kids all the time. And I find it with families all the time. And it's just these pockets of humanity where I go, oh, we're the same. We're the same. I see you. That's it. And I get it. And it's such a pleasure to get calm enough with somebody. Get rid of your own judgment and get rid of your own anger and get calm enough with somebody that they can take you to their humanity. And they can show you why their behavior makes a lot of sense. And if we could just give each other a little grace with this benevolence thing and say, you know, I know everyone in this room tonight, whether you're progressive or Democrat or conservative or far right wing, there's benevolence. Inside is a good person who just has had different experiences than me. And I just got to listen. And if I can just get past my own judgment, I can find it. I found it odd this week because I kept doing this experiment with the Minnesota thing. I kept putting out, I even have a chat with some of the guys, former clients here. They're all moved on, and I have a chat with them. And I tested it. I go, I'm going to put that I agree with both sides. I think this was a terrible situation, and I agree with both sides. And then instantly, no one can resist just going, yeah, but she shouldn't have. Yeah, but he shouldn't have. People just have to disagree with one of the sides. And I found that experience every time I began to talk about it this week. And it's like, no, can't we just sit with man, that sucks. That sucks. Sucks for that dude that he has to live with the fact that he shot a woman in the face, man, just because a car bumped his leg. Like, that sucks. You would hope that our federal agents don't want to shoot fellow American women in the face anymore. You hope they have enough humanity to go, geez, let me just get out of the way and let her do her thing here. And you hope that people aren't so angry and nasty and hate-filled that they don't understand that that federal agent has a family, that he's doing what he thinks is right, that he has a family and he wants to come home to that family that night. You know, can't we just be there and just start going, damn, make you tear up, man, when you see that humanity. That's really all I wanted to talk about tonight. And I can take questions tonight. We can talk and discuss and open. I didn't want to rattle on for too long tonight, but that's just where I'm at. Can I do something about the current state of the world just through my actions and through my behavior? Can I maybe make a difference just by saying something tonight about, God dang it, everybody get off your righteousness. Jesus, this is a collision, you know, and the fear in our country is getting more and more where we can't even be fellow Americans anymore. I don't even remember, a lot of you kids weren't born on 9/11, but I'm telling you, on 9/12, this country was a pretty cool place to be. I don't know if a lot of you kids felt it, but on 9/12, man, it was cool to be an American. And I don't care if you were Democrat or Republican, George Bush was your guy that day. And that little guy came out, you know, little badass came out. You know, I hated George Bush before that day. I was a Clinton fan, you know. I didn't know why. I don't know nothing about nothing. I can't tell you one policy of any of them, but for whatever reason, I thought Clinton was cool and Bush wasn't. You know, But there come old George, man, rallying the country. And we came together as people, and it was nice. If you were American, another day was January 16th, 1991. Anyone know what day that is? No. January 16th, 1991. Anyone know what happened on that day?
Is that Iraq?
Something about that was taking us.
Iraq War happened that day.
Yeah.
Okay? Also, AC/DC played the Tacoma Dome.
Next day.
AC/DC played the Tacoma Dome that night, and god dang it if I wasn't there. And it was announced. And this isn't good or bad, and I don't know anything. The only reason I'm telling this story is that we were fellow Americans. It was announced that America had attacked Iraq. And as the concert started, and Angus Young came rising up in the middle of the stadium, and he's playing his solo, the whole entire stadium, everybody in it, started yelling, "Fuck Iraq." And it was deafening. It was deafening. Because we were Americans, and you messed with America, you messed with everyone. And it was deafening, and it was beautiful to be in that room and be a fellow American. It wasn't Democrats and Republicans anymore. And that's the same way, if you've experienced this country and the humanity of it, it's been that way. Anyways, we'll just open it up tonight. If you're new, if you need help, if anything, talk.
We'd love to meet the new
People on Zoom can ask
There's lots of
questions.
people on Zoom too, and if you're
Comments.
If you're at home on Zoom to get my attention, you can use the raise your hand feature on the device. We can get you unmuted if you have any questions, comments.
And I hope we can keep the discussion to, I don't care what your opinion is on Minnesota. I don't. And I don't want to argue about it. I don't want anyone to start arguing about it. So I don't give a shit. And if you're fired up inside and you can't see both sides of it as being wrong, then get off yourself. But we're not going to have a big thing about that. Basketball game, that's a different story.
So yeah, let's open it up. If you new people, we'd love to meet you. If you're willing to say hello and introduce yourself, we'd love that. And then those of you at home, comments, questions would be fantastic. Yes,
Hi, I'm new. My name is Paula, and I'm from the Lake Taps area, so I'm really close friends with Janet. We raised our sons together. Janet unfortunately lost her son. He's going to be here this week. My son's been battling with alcoholism for quite some time. He goes in and out of it. He's 33, and I just constantly watch his struggle and trying to support him the best I can without enabling him. It's hard for me to find that balance.
You're an enabler. You do.
I quit doing his dishes. So
You quit doing his dishes? So you no longer care about him. Nice. Nice. I see.
Yeah, so I'm kind of in that place. He's gone to what do you call it? In-house treatment a few times, and he's had sobriety for a year and then comes out and falls off, and then he goes back. He wants to be sober, but he just struggles so bad. And then there's depression, anxiety, and then loneliness in there too.
Yeah.
And a lack of purpose.
Loneliness.
where does he live?
Happened to me.
Yes.
There's that fear.
Where does he live?
He lives up in Kenmore.
By himself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Depression and anxiety and loneliness.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
We all got
what
that
we would
one.
like to do, Paula, is
Yeah.
schedule a consultation. And y'all can raise your hand if you've got a consultation. Yes. A consultation is kind of where we start with the family, so we can sit down with you, and that's for mom and dad, if dad. And we get to know you more, one-on-one, and then that way we can identify.
At about 9 a.m. today, I struggled with depression. About 11 a.m., I struggled with anxiety. And about noon, it was the loneliness. You know? That's supposed to be funny.
It's not right. It's where we're at. It's true. For sure.
You know, Jesus, look at the world. You know. Then you look at little A, my son.
Then he gives.
He's
the
learning to kiss me.
That's
My son kisses. He doesn't know to close his mouth yet. It looks like me and him are doing mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. And I say kiss, and he goes. I don't want him kissing no one else, so don't try it with him. It's just me and him that do this. You know? Now he's got a cold, so then right before I came, he kissed and coughed right deep into my mouth at the same time. But I gave him the cold, so
Yes.
we're just...
You forgot to
Yeah.
fill people in on that whole thing. The water since last.
Oh, I forgot. Listen, last solution group, I was told by my doctor that I must start drinking 70 ounces of water a day. Okay, he said, first of all, if you get the backstory, I've been going to this quack for 2 years. Took this quack 2 years to figure out that I'm not drinking enough water. You know what I mean? You'd think he could have asked that question on day one, but
did.
no, we went 2 years. So anyways,
did.
the quack gets me drinking 70 ounces of water. Turns out I do it for 9 days. 70 ounces, sometimes 100. I was just pounding down these water bottles. 16.9 ounces in a bottle. You drink about 6 of those, you're over 100. Well, you know?
He
There I
was
go.
committed to being really good. Until
And I was
so
eating
he
right.
could tell you all that he did it.
I said, I'm going to go 2 weeks. I'm going to get back there and tell them I did it with the water. I did it, ate right. I'm going to show you that accountability works. Thank you for holding me accountable.
You
Then,
made it 6 days.
then, I thought it was 9.
No.
Okay, 6.
She's holding it.
So on the 6th day, I was stricken ill.
Yeah. And he never gets sick.
Okay, and I never get sick. I'm talking more phlegm, more cough, debilitating cold, can't move.
He's in the guest room
And so I'm not even allowed, I'm banished.
because we don't want.
I'm banished to the guest room, okay?
Yeah.
She shows up to
Yeah,
like,
fever.
she shows up with some meds and stuff, and she's got the mask and the gloves on. And I'm banished over there, exiled.
You had water poisoning.
And that's what, exactly what, thanks, Jeff. And I concluded, about the 3rd day of being sick, I go, it was that goddamn water. I literally had waterboarded myself into sickness. You know? This healthy food and this bullshit water. And all
I
of
will
a sudden,
say it's a little suspicious.
Thank
because
you.
He never gets sick. It's so weird because he never gets sick. He's pretty good. It's not very common that he gets sick, and it is weird that this was the timer.
well, anyone guzzling
But
night.
I liked Amanda's theory last night. The water just was pushing everything through, got the sickness out, and now we're on the other side. So that makes sense too. So I like that too. We gotta
Anyways,
keep up
I'm
with
off
the
that water bullshit. You know,
So then
back to
we're
the
like
Coca-Cola. When I'm thirsty, a Coca-Cola sounds so much better than a glass of water. I don't need. Paula,
I didn't get sick.
Paula, where's his father?
His father's in South Carolina.
Do they have a relationship?
Yeah, he has really strong.
Does he work?
He has a good job.
Good job.
Well, his job is commercial real estate. He had a good job. It's tanking now. I think that's part of the downward spiral. 100% commission. So,
How would you enable him?
because every time he falls off, I kind of run there to stay with him and kind of.
How does he fall off?
He'll go to the bar and just drink a bunch, and then it just kind of continues on.
Does he get sick?
Yeah, he gets really sick. He never drinks.
Does he end up in the hospital when he drinks?
Does he? No.
No.
Ends up in bed for a couple days.
Oh. And mom comes and fixes it.
Mom comes when I haven't heard from him. We share a location, and we usually communicate every day. And if he falls off in a big way, and I don't hear from him in a day or two, then I show.
You know, let's get over this. There's a thing that gets around in this addiction and world and all this stupid enabling terms and all that codependent bullshit and all that nonsense. Listen, they actually make it sound as if a mother is sick for wanting to take care of their kid. It's pretty ridiculous. You're instinctual to take care of your son. You're instinctual to go to him when he's sick. It's unnatural not to. So let's get over ourselves a little bit, you know. There is that. And there is some learning and some power dynamics and some stuff that goes on that will help you with. But this idea that alcoholism shows up and codependency shows up, and then this person is going to have to go to years of therapy because they become a codependent and all this nonsense. Hey, when he stops drinking, your problems go away. Okay? So let's not act like you're the one that needs treatment, you know? I mean, you could get some help, you know? But I have to defend a little bit and clap back against people that talk about this, you know, because we can go down some strange roads where you have mothers who their son is a normal kid, the rest of their family's a normal family, and all of a sudden you got mothers sitting in groups and groups and groups for years talking about their problems. And all of a sudden my son, you know, there was one time around here, there was a website called The Addict's Mother. Now you need something to qualify to be on there, right? You need an addict. And I find that the addict's mother is a very terrible identity to have. You see what I'm saying? So they all got on this website, and addict's mom, and everybody would talk about their qualifier, and everybody would talk about why they're on this thing, and it started to be, is that your problem that your son's an addict, or is that your solution? You see, it gets very tricky. Is this your solution to get your story out there, to talk about it, to indulge and get validated for your troubled life? Is this your identity or is it his? I've never seen I was thinking about one kind of like an identity of a kid. I was thinking about if a guy was a tow truck driver, and then he looked and his mom was on a website called the Tow Truck Driver's Mom. You know what I mean? And there's this whole website and all these mothers, the accountant's mother. Is your son an accountant? My son's an accountant too. Well, let's talk about it. Does he do a lot of shit with numbers? He does. Well, shit. You got big problems. Accountants suck. They're boring as hell. He is. You should see how he dresses. You know? So there's no other grabbing of an identity. My mother had cancer and died from it. I couldn't find a site that said the sons of mother's cancer site. There was nowhere to go. No? Maybe we just need a little strategy. Maybe we're not sick. Maybe we just need some helpful strategies. You know? Maybe you're a healthy person that needs some helpful strategies. And then you look and you go, hey, how can I maneuver these love and accountability pedals in a little bit way that move the car down a little bit better? That's all we're doing. We're taking these two pedals and we're saying, push on this one a little bit now. Oh, now give him some of this one. Now push on this one a little. Oh, now bring in dad and push some of this one a little. Oh, now mom and dad switch. Dad, you push the love pedal. Mom, you push the accountability pedal. It's beautiful. That's all it is. We bring a little bit of tough love. Yeah, tough love. It's both. You see, but there's love. People miss that. Went to the Dr. Drew show. We and Angie went on the Dr. Drew Pinsky show. Oh boy, I'm going to be famous. Went to Pasadena, California, to Dr. Drew's house, and Bob Forrest. Boy, was I going to be famous. He showed me the picture the other day. I'm in a pink
It came
shirt.
up on my time hop because it was this month. It was January 17th.
I remember thinking, oh, this is it. I'm going to be famous after this one. Went to Dr. Drew's house. You go to Dr. Drew's bathroom. It's pretty embarrassing. You went to the bathroom. I went to Dr. Drew's bathroom in his house. He's got all these positive affirmations and
That was cute.
yeah.
It was nice.
Angie liked it. I thought, what a weirdo.
No, I liked it.
It's like you're the most famous doctor, male sex, women love you, you got all this money, it's a beautiful home, and you still got to look in the mirror and it says, I'm a great person. You're a good person. You still got to have that shit going, Dr. Drew? Okay. Anyways, we went on the show and we got into the thing, and they asked us about our strategies and what we do at Battlefield Addiction, and Angie said something to the effect of, well, we tried all that tough love stuff with my son, and he goes, what do you mean? And she goes, well, we kicked him out and all that. And Dr. Drew said it to her. And this was when we were only 2 years in. Dr. Drew goes, that's not tough love. That's just tough. And I remembered from that day that he said that. He was right. Tough love is that place where someone's leaving your home and you're giving them a hug. You're giving them a hug because you both know, and there's an agreement between both of you that this behavior that they're doing may, well, albeit they can't stop, or whether it's bad, there's so much love between you that you understand that this person's leaving your house just because they love you enough that they got to get away, but they can't stop doing what they're doing. Tough love has a hug to it. One of the things I pride myself on is anyone that I've ever put out of these houses, anyone that I've ever had to let go, if we've ever had to do that, there always comes with a hug. Hey man, I know you gotta go do what you gotta do, but man, don't die and get back here. But tough love's a skill that you have to learn. It takes a lot of time to learn that thing. It took me years to learn it, and I'm still learning it. To apply love to somebody who's behaving very poorly, to get there with them with the humanity of it, and then still be able to hold the accountability pedal. Just try it on your own kids. Just try to endure punishing your 5-year-old or holding an accountability thing after the anger goes away. It's tough stuff. When the anger goes away, you want to let people up. You want to make them feel better. So it's tough. Tough love's tough because you're still going, yeah, I know, I still got to follow through here. But I love you. And then getting that agreement with the person, it's tough. There's a lot to learn, you know? Yeah, and you're here for you, but not for your identity. You're here to fix a problem. You're here to get this shit done and get on a cruise. Not to get wallow in lifetime of groups and meetings and bullshit. You come here because you're happy, not because you're sad. Here's Kristen, she don't got no addicts left, and she still sticks around. Her family's fully intact. She's over it. She still comes. You know, she likes the jokes. Alright, who else needs to introduce themselves or maybe somebody's got some pain that they're dealing with they need to talk about. You know? Maybe there's somebody on Zoom.
And Rihanna, I just wanted to introduce Rihanna. I'm so glad you're here. I met Rihanna at like a Chamber of Commerce event or networking event maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
And we connected and started chatting, and then she shared that she had lost her brother.
Yeah, so I lost my brother to a fentanyl overdose. And,
What year?
but it's 5 years now. So whatever year that makes it, 2020, actually 2022.
Ooh.
Yeah, 2021. So it's 2021. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
How old was he?
He was 30.
What's his name?
Josh Haslam.
Josh Haslam. I know that name.
Well, because I've done your guys' walks and your other things and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he was an alcoholic, and I hate talking about this.
It's alright.
He just always ended up getting and going back out. It was just always alcoholism.
And then what, he got into something?
Yeah, I mean, if you're living on the streets, right, like, what are you gonna expect? And then he just, I don't know, he just started to lose it, and he started to become like schizophrenic, and he would come back and we would still try to help him. We tried to help him time and time again, and he would like do good, he'd have a good job for a while, and then he'd fall off, and then my parents bought him an RV, a piece of land for him, and just, they did all the things, but he just couldn't get with the program, he just couldn't stop, so he ended up overdosing with fentanyl.
Wow.
Yeah, and we even went out and we searched because we didn't hear from him for a while, and when we signed up these papers saying like where he's like a hazard to himself.
Alright. Joel's Law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and then of course they can't tell you if he's been arrested because it's like HIPAA or some shit.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Yeah.
right, but the cops weren't doing their job. Because come to find out later he had still been arrested like 3 or 4 times after we had filled out all this paperwork for him to be taken into custody.
Yeah, that's the other thing. People just don't understand why we want people arrested.
Yeah.
People
So
think
it's
we
not
want.
arrested, but it's just to help him.
Yeah, that's right. People don't understand that in this state. They don't get it. We don't want people arrested to be punished. We want them arrested so they're safe. You ever had a loved one that's out there? You want them arrested. You want them in jail so you can go to sleep one night and get a break. And you can go to jail. They can go to jail and be safe one night, hopefully, and you can go, dang, they got my brother in jail. Thank God, I'm gonna sleep tonight, and then I'm gonna go see him in the morning. We're gonna see if we can get him some help.
He's safe now, you know, at least we know. We're not having to worry about him all the time. And I know it's sad to say.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a very honest thing there's a lot of parents that understand the relief. This is a dominating thing, and all you kids need to understand that in this program. I was talking to someone today, and I said, you don't understand. You think you're struggling. You don't understand what it's like, man. You don't understand what it's like to truly... Just think of your dog. Anyone just think of your dog, your favorite dog, and then think that your dog's missing. You just gonna go to sleep when your dog's missing? Now think of it being your kid. Think of not knowing where your kid is. And now if you're an addict in this room and you think your parents shouldn't worry, you would go crazy if the dog was missing. I figured it out real quick when my dog Barkley went missing for about 4 hours and my whole life was in turmoil. I went, oh, I didn't even have a son yet. And I went, oh, I get it now. I don't even, and then I looked at parents and I went, well, shit, I don't know how they go to work. I don't know how they go to work. How do you even go to work? If Barkley was just out there on the streets missing, I'm not even going to work. It's on. My life stops until we find you. And then they say to people, just move on. You know, why are y'all wrapped up? And then the other siblings get pissed. Why are y'all wrapped up in their life? Because our family member is missing. We're not stopping. I always tell people this. It's like, let's say you took a family of 5 and you went to the moon. And you're on the moon for a couple hours and you look around and one of the family members is missing. Would you move on? Or would you just go, nothing else happens until we get this family member back in the buggy? That's it. And that's what it must be like to be a parent and not have your family and have every seat at the table filled with the family members that's supposed to be there. And kids just go, my parents don't care about me. Jesus, man. You don't know shit. You don't know shit about caring for someone then. Because it is a brutal thing to do. It is a brutal thing to care for someone who's suffering. Anyways. Thank you, Rihanna.
Yeah.
You're home. This is.
So glad you're here.
There's many others in this room that have
She
lost.
brought Larry. He does camera work, and so I just,
Can you make me look a little skinnier?
Are
Yeah.
there special filters?
Yeah. Let's talk about that after the. I'm looking for a guy that goes the 15 off, not the 15 on. I want that camera that takes off 15 pounds.
And then Janet, of course, is here, and Janet is Rodney's mama. Yeah. And she lost Rodney a year ago. And it's this week. Thursday. It's this week. It's anniversary.
And what would we say to Rodney? You know, Rodney was in this room, guys, and you know, Rodney was an alcoholic, but there's just bad stuff out there on the streets now. And you think you're doing cocaine, but you're not. You think you're going to try a little fentanyl because you've had a few drinks. You've lost your inhibitions. Big mistake. And Ronnie sat in this room, and I'll tell you, I still wish I would have had him. Right now, if I could have Rodney in this room one more time, what I would say is, Rodney, get off that phone and listen to what we're saying here. Commit to this program and commit to your sobriety. And listen to the people here that are giving you information on how to not suffer. And I want all you kids to understand that. You got a chance to learn how to deal with your suffering before it kills you. And you have to learn how to not suffer. You have to learn how to be in pain and then get through it in a positive way. And if you don't, it just takes... Rodney wasn't relapsing all the time. He was getting his life together. He had his own place again. He had a girlfriend again. He had a job again. And then one slip. That's it. He wasn't out there doing it. He didn't forego the program and say, I'm gone, I'm gonna go back to the streets or anything like that. He probably partied that night because he felt good and he had it together.
I think so.
Yeah. He wasn't partying because he was miserable. I tell you kids all the time, I party because people say we always party because we're in pain. A lot of times it ain't even that. A lot of times we're scared of success. A lot of times we get close to success and then sabotage ourselves because we don't know what success feels like. So we get close and then we do something and people are like, damn, what? You had it all together. Yeah, that's because I wasn't really in that much pain. I was more in a celebratory mood.
And you think you can do a little when you haven't done it for a while?
That's right.
And that little amount will get you.
And he was a banker. He worked in the finance field. Well, sorry.
My bad.
Bakers.
Okay, any questions from?
Anybody at home, if you have any comments, questions, feel free to unmute yourself, get my attention if you have anything. We've got you all out there too.
You know what I really wanted
Oh, here's a hand. May. Hi, May. Hey, let's put you on spotlights. Can we hear you?
So,
You're muted. Let's get you unmuted. There we go. Hi.
hi. I just want to say thank you. My son's been with you guys for over a month now, and turn this down. Maybe it's echoing. But I just like the progress that he's making. I feel like it's a good, positive environment, and it's so much better than worrying when they're out on the streets. I'm just grateful for everything you guys are doing.
Thank
Well, we're glad you're here. Yeah, Devin's back there too. He's here.
Hi, Mom.
We can't see the back there. He's waiting. I know out there is always looking for their loved one. Are they there?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say his name because I wasn't sure how he'd feel about that,
We're not anonymous. We're anything if not anonymous. We're the opposite. Whatever the opposite of anonymous is, we're that. Yeah. Whatever the opposite of calling everything out and having your whole closet cleaned, whatever, if that's opposite of anonymous.
It's really good to hear you say though, like the two petals. It's like it's been years and years of trying to figure out what to do, and you try one pedal for a few years and then try another pedal for a few years, and it's really like driving a clutch with 2 feet.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's a tough mix, and finding the right mix is tough. You know what I want folks to really tonight for me is like I really believe this. If you're not tearing up, if you're not experiencing some humanity, I think that we have gotten dehumanized. I think we're dehumanized to all of it. I think we can walk by somebody on the street who's overdosing and we can walk by because we've seen enough. And we can walk by somebody that's just openly doing fentanyl and we can walk by because we've seen enough. And you probably should walk by, and we can be angry with each other and we can fight over our viewpoints and our side's right and my side's right. But who's actually striving to find the humanity? Who's really working so that they can get in a conversation that makes them tear up? How do I get on the other side of my judgment? How do I get on the other side of my anger and just sit there at the other side of it and find some benevolence, find that reason why that other person that I'm talking to that I hated, that I was frustrated with, that I'm mad at, why are they right? Let me find their rightness. I always tell everyone that for me, this love thing, love is when everybody's wrong, that's when I'm mad. Why do I want to be right then? You see, I'm most angry when I'm the most right. So why do I want to be right? But when everybody else is right, then I'm in love. So why don't I want to strive for other people being right? Why don't I work towards finding why other people are right? I can be really angry when watching one of these kids struggle. Mikey, especially, I'll just call you out. I get really. And today I was going to be very forceful with Mikey. I was going to make him do something he didn't want to do. I said, I'm going to make him do something he don't want to do. I'm going to hold him accountable today. He showed me a trick. Not only did I not hold him accountable, he brought me into his world. And when he did, there was nothing but love and tears. There was nothing but, oh, I see. And I agree he's right where he needs to be. And I agree. He's doing what he needs to do. Proud of you, Mikey. Really. And he gave me the honor of bringing me into his struggle, something I don't know about. And I sat there and I went, oh, I wonder what that's like, you know? And as soon as I was on the other side of my judgments about him, and I got to that place, all my anger went away and all I felt was love. And that's addicting. That's something I can get addicted to. How do I get there? You must have a question, Mary. You see your head's turning. It's turning. Oh. Well, now I'm working with Mary and I'm having you hold your son accountable. And I'm pulling the love. That must be weird. You see? Who knows? Yeah.
What do you do when you've got somebody who just likes doing what they're doing? They just say they profess to not be having a struggle, but they just like doing drugs. And if there was a way to do it without killing themselves, they would just be doing drugs all the time. I mean, how do you even? I guess who likes doing something that's illegal?
Well, the first thing I'll say to that is drugs feel really good. They just do. Anyone's done drugs knows they're very, very good stuff.
Good.
You know what I mean? And the second thing I'll say to that is, I'll say a lot, but the second thing here is that I agree wholeheartedly that a lot of us that are in this room are, and a lot of the changes we make in our life are for other people. That I can honestly say that if my family would have all died in a car wreck, I would have kept doing drugs. I only stopped because of them. I only stopped because of the guilt I felt about hurting them and about the way that they did. And I distinctly remember a time wishing that my family, and this is mean to say, but wishing that my family was deceased so I could use drugs and not have to worry about them. And I think if people are honest, they really get to a point where you go, God. And so there's a big, thing that yeah, it's an easy way. And when we don't have a bunch of accountability and a bunch of pressure and people that love us, it does, you put me on a desert island full of drugs to this day by myself. I'll probably do drugs every day on that desert island by myself. But if you put one other person on that island with me, I might make a better decision because I'd rather have that human connection than do drugs. You see? So there's that. And then there's also bullshit. There's also, come on, you're full of shit. You're in a lot of pain. You can't sit with yourself. There's a lot of shit. You don't just like doing it. You can't help yourself. Quit. I always tell them like this: meth is battery acid. That's what it is. It's pure and simple. It's battery acid. Now, if you saw a human being go out to the car out in the front of the driveway and open up the hood and lick on the battery, you know goddamn well that kid was in pain. So don't tell me you're having fun smoking meth. You're licking battery acid off a battery. You're in some pain. And don't tell me you're having fun doing fentanyl. You can't let go of the foot. You're sitting there folded over like a goddamn lawn chair. You're not in a penthouse suite of Vegas with strippers all around. Knock it off. That's what I would say, some bullshit like that. You show me one person that's having fun doing fentanyl on this planet? No. Folded over like lawn chairs, zombies. That ain't fun. That's pain relief. You show me one person having fun doing meth up underneath something, diggling all around. Jesus, you go to the gas station, they got everything they own outside the car at the gas pump. You just drive up and go, oh, meth, nice. And you show me a person that's drunk and can't stop getting drunk and drunk all day in the middle of the day and got to get up and I'll show you someone in pain. So those people that say drugs are just fun, show me how you're having fun there, kiddo. Show me your money. Show me the strippers. Show me the party that you're at. Don't show me that you're in a car alone crying your eyes out folded over. That ain't fun. So I say bullshit to all that. Yeah, drugs were fun for a lot of us. High school. Yeah, they were real fun. You go to a high school party, you get girls, you talk a lot, you stay up all night. Fun shit. But when did it turn to obliteration? If it's so fun, why don't you want to remember it? And why are you missing the target and going way past it? You know, you're going to it says in the big book, and I love the big book, but it says in the big book, it says obliteration was preferable. So I'll just ask anybody that says drugs are fun, when did obliteration become preferable then? If they're so fun. How come you overdose if they're so fun? They ain't fun. Pain relief. So that's something you tell your mom, though. That's something you tell people. I just like doing drugs. You know, the real trick about a human being is that no matter how our life is, we still want to look good. We still want to sound cool. We still want to tell people we got it together. And that's a kind of a way to tell people you kind of got it together when you don't. When you can't stop doing something that is the truth is, where's your life at? Is that fun? Homelessness? Is that fun? Hospitals? Is that fun? Isolation? Is that fun? I haven't seen anyone doing drugs in a long time that made me jealous. You know, I haven't been jealous of someone using drugs in a long time. Look out, see this guy just kicking it, high as hell, having fun, laughing. No, not even people that smoke weed. I used to be jealous of people that smoke weed, laugh and have some bag of Doritos and shit, and the movie's funnier. No, now even everyone smoking weed's goddamn talking to themselves in psychosis. Paranoid. That don't look like no fun no more. Nothing looks fun. Shit. I ain't never been jealous. I go out with my sister and her family and they get drunk on a Friday night. I'm out of there. Ain't no one here having fun. You guys are arguing about shit that happened 10 years ago. Get me out of this house. Yeah. Ain't no one having fun. Nonsense.
So we got 5 minutes left. I just want to put a reminder out there for the moms. Tomorrow, 11 a.m. If you need the mob link for Zoom, just shoot me a message. I'll send it to you.
I'll tell you what's fun. You get high, you stop getting high for a second and start getting some human connection. You know, you start being with another human so closely and listening to them and feeling their pain and feeling their struggle to the point where you tear up and you cry. And you start getting in some rooms with people and you start seeing their humanity and you cry. That's fun. I'll tell you, Landman, Taylor Sheridan, that guy can write a story, man. You turn that Landman show on, you'll cry 2 times, guaranteed. It's a great show. He makes you cry. You know? There it is. I'll tell you what fun is. Fun is crying because you're in love. Crying because you feel love again. And I want to ask you, when's the last time in the last week you cried and felt love? Not cry because you're sad. Cry because you feel love for another person and you can't stop tearing up. I got 15 of them in the last 2 days, and I think I'm doing pretty goddamn good. And I'm going to seek some more, and that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. And tomorrow I'm going to get up and I'm going to seek some more humanity, and I'm going to try to get out of my own way, and I'm going to try to get on the other side of judgment. And I'm not telling you what to do, and I'm not telling you that I know how to do it. I'm just telling you that that's going to be my thing, and I'm going to drink a little more water. You know? But in the meantime, I mean, you know, here we are. We're in this thing, and maybe we can just Maybe we can see the people that disagree with us, people that we don't understand. That's who we need to understand, and that's who we need to agree with. And if we don't understand and we don't agree with those people and we don't make an effort to, then we're never going to be happy again. And we're going to always be living in this fear. And that's the fear that I saw in my life. But I was starting to feel fellow Americans that don't think like me. I didn't want to be in their presence because they're making me too angry with their opinions. And I start getting real judgmental, and I start getting really, 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 you know, I dehumanize people. I dehumanize this lady that got shot in the face and say it's her fault. Well, that's not. She's a human. But because maybe somebody doesn't agree with her political views, you think she's a robot or something, but that was a human. And so is the man who shot her. And so are those people at the basketball game. And that kid who said that ref's a piece of shit. That's a human. And I wish somebody would lead that kid. And I wish somebody would take a stand for that kid and say, hey, he needs to get better in life. He can't behave this way. And we're going to put some social pressure on him, but not to hold him accountable and admonish him, but to hold him accountable and love him. And say, it looks like you made a mistake, kiddo. You can't talk like that around here. One teacher that could lead that kid and say, come here next to me, man. Stand here for the rest of the game, even. I'm not going to kick you out, but you need to stand here next to me for the rest of the game. After the game, you're going to go up to the ref and say you're sorry, man. Do you think you should do that? No, I don't think I should do that. Well, then maybe you got to go home and I'll talk to you tomorrow when you figure it out. A little tough love is in order. Both pedals. Anyways, thank you guys.
Thank you, guys. See you all in the morning, 11 a.m.
Thank
And
you.
see you all next time, first Tuesday. Please have the Good night, everybody.